Hi everyone, my name is Natasha, my partner is Jeremy. Our motorcycle is BMW GS, best motorcycle for travel. And we continue to travel through Mexico. We're going from Mazatlan towards Mexico City, and I would say we're pretty much close. And this episode will be about a couple interesting places on the way, such like amazing, one of the most beautiful city in Mexico with fantastic underground tunnels. Also, such things like big and popular cathedral, and so on and so on. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you do, don't forget about like or dislike or comment or subscribe. Any kind of feedback is really important to us. Let's go.
And then we left and we went back north again. We had to go up north to go to San Juan de los Lagos, which was our next stop. So we stopped there because there's this, it's a pilgrimage site. Something like 10 million Mexicans a year go
this
there.
girl who fell on the knife. So that's whole pilgrim's business. Once upon a time, at 16th century to be precise, little girl fell down. She was an acrobat in the circus, and she fell down on the knife. And some smart people put a statue of Virgin Mary on her, and she came back to life. And now it's a whole industry about that. Big church, big market around. Reminds me of tequila, but there's a culture around tequila. Here's around little girl. And that was something, because
Yes.
all those crowds crawling in the church, and I got two big surprises. So they made, real cult of that statue. Because people were taking a picture, crawling to that. They were not allowed to touch it. But it's a cult of the statue. Also, it's lots of selling shit all around the church, like endless market selling.
Jesus would have hated it.
Yeah, I think so, because it's totally against what he said, actually.
Yeah.
What he said.
Anyway, well, he threw out the merchants and the money changers from the temple.
Yeah, seems to be like Mexican. Forgot about that.
Anyway, so that was that place, which was kind of interesting. And then we went from there, I think, to Guanajuato.
Yeah, which your book said.
Doreen Kindersley book, DK guys, very good.
Yeah, very good book, actually. And it said that that's the most beautiful city in Mexico, right? Guanajuato or something like that.
That's what this book says, but then another website that we looked at said the city where we are now, San Miguel de Allende, is the most beautiful city in the world. So I don't know how they come to that conclusion.
Okay, come back to the most beautiful city in Mexico. It was really beautiful, that's true.
Yeah.
But so busy.
Really busy, but what was interesting is that, because now we're in San Miguel, we can compare. So Guanajuato was full of tourists on Sunday, but they were all Mexican tourists, all doing Mexican stuff. And there wasn't really a really great variety of places to eat, because it was, like Mexicans pretty much eat street food, and it's all kind of very local. Whereas here in San Miguel de Allende, it's a little American colony, and there's a few thousands of American expats here and full of American tourists, and they've sort of taken over parts of the town, like the library.
Yeah, this city is surprisingly full of expats. They all live in here. It's like American city.
Yeah.
But coming back to Guanajuato, it's a great city about the tunnels.
Yeah.
And that's the place where they were mining silver since, 18th century?
No, since like the 1560s. So if you think that Christopher Columbus landed in 1492, and within 70 years there was a huge silver mining industry set up in central Mexico.
And that's why the city is so rich.
That's why the city was so rich, yeah. So it was mining silver there for hundreds of years, and they're still
doing that quite a lot.
Silver and gold being mined there now.
And they had that absolutely amazing tunnels under the city. We thought first we thought that it's something to do with mining, but no, it's with floating. And what I actually don't quite understand, how the floating can happen on a 2,000 meters up high.
Yeah, I guess because if you remember, when we left Guanajuato, we went up, so there are mountains even above it.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a river that flows down from the mountains into the city, and they made this tunnel to divert the river from whatever route it was taking, because it was flooding on that route, and they dug these tunnels to divert the river, but then they dug an even deeper tunnel to divert the river even further. And now they use the tunnels under the city as
Driving.
for driving. Yeah,
Driving roads.
it makes really good sense because it's like an old medieval Italian hill city with really narrow roads. But now because there are these tunnels underneath, traffic can circulate quite well under the city.
That was really amazing. I mean, to see that. But I should say it's so unpleasant to be there on the bike because it's so slippery.
Yeah.
And because Mexicans here all over the Mexico, they put those bumps on the road.
6 inches high, all over the place, to stop you from going wherever you're going, but also to slow you down. So you have to go over them. You often have to go over them. And on a bike, it's hairy.
Yeah, it's okay for the car, but for
it must really cause a lot of accidents.
Yeah, so that's horrible. And there were lots of them in Guanajuato. And driving there, at least the big motorcycle, was just
it was hard work.
Yeah, hard work at least. Yeah. Also, there is a interesting museum.
Oh yeah, the Mummies. Yeah. Yes, I mean the story there is that the cemetery was full as a result of a cholera epidemic in the mid-19th century, and so they introduced a tax on people, or I guess a rent or an extra charge to families who wanted to keep the bodies in the graveyard. And dead bodies who didn't have families to pay this charge got exhumed, and over the course of 70 or 80 years, they were taking bodies out. They were exhuming bodies and hanging them up in this kind of underground place that they had, and the bodies accumulated over about 70 years.
But what they find out that the bodies are like mummies.
They're mummified. Yeah, they got mummified after just
for
a
natural
few years.
Causes, because just I guess the water and minerals there just caused them to be mummies.
So they had these bodies stored basically in storage, and the cemetery workers, because they could, they used to charge people a few pesos just to come in and have a look at our scary mummies, these mummified bodies that were just hanging around. And anyway, then eventually they turned it into a proper museum.
Yeah, the museum really worth it because it's people who naturally turn into mummies. That's something they all have funny faces.
Yeah. So that was a cool thing about Guanajuato. Yeah.
Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you stay with us because we continue to go towards Mexico City. We're almost there, and I'm sure it's going to be interesting. And don't forget about likes, please. We just started our channel, and it is really important. So see you in the next episode.